I met Maasailand a couple of decades ago, and we began talking right away.
I had come to the United States in 1997 and met her dad in Seattle, and we became very good family friends.
I was in graduate school at the time. We began talking right away about what could happen if I got a job at a college that could partner with his work that he was doing in the Maasai community.
She loves teaching, she loves students very much, and while we were in Kenya, she just kept wondering about how her students would benefit from an opportunity to come and learn.
So we had a lot of excited conversations, and then I got the job at Prescott College, and it was like a rocket took off.
Now we can go forward with our original idea of bringing students to Kenya and educating them.
So the entirety of the colonial era under British rule, then there's independence, and then we have independent Kenya as a new political form, right?
Maasailand's vision has been for cultural survival for his community, and so when we partnered up and began working closely together, it was around the idea that there could be a mutual benefit between American college students who very much, in my experience, desperately want to connect in real, genuine ways with the world.
Okay. I'll see how far I can get it over your head. Oh, yeah!
The first class was in 2004, and that class was actually created by Maasai and I, but also by a group of students who were determined. They were the ones that camped out in my office and said, "You have to take us with you."
I took a few classes with one of my now mentors, Mary Poole, and she was like, "You should come to Kenya," and I was like, "That's crazy." But we started fundraising, and soon it became clear that I was going to go to Kenya.
I remember when the students got there and cultural shock was the biggest problem. Right from Nairobi, you have students who are used to very comfortable life, running water in the taps, and students who ate any time they wanted. And here they were in Nairobi, and everything had to be planned.
So like after these long travels, very tiring, very bumpy, we arrived at camp. I was very surprised at how it was just delightful. It's just really delightful and sweet smelling with the acacia trees.
That first class, man, we didn't have a center, we didn't have a classroom. We had a whiteboard wedged between the limbs of a tree, and our biggest problem was that monkeys kept coming down and stealing the erasers and interrupting class. Today we have a full-blown center, well-developed, depth relationships with communities in Maasailand. Students today get to land into the middle of a lot of welcoming open arms and big smiles and people getting, ready to get to work.
Actually, what struck me first when I got there is the place itself. Maasailand, as we know today, the Serengeti and the Mara Wildlife Reserve, is just a vast, amazing landscape. People come from all over the world to see this place. It's on people's bucket list. They spend huge amounts of money to come and someday in their lifetime see it.
There's always some people who come from our culture who are like, all right, let's go on a walk, let's go find lions. And any one of our Maasai friends will say, "You're crazy," that's absolutely ridiculous, you don't do that.
This summer was one of the first times that I truly experienced what community, has now come to mean for me in my heart. We all worked together, lived together, washed our clothes together, and all hierarchy in between us that may have existed when we were in the US and in the first few days in the country just started to dissolve.
So what's unique about our program is that we completely follow the lead of the community. It's not just a philosophy for the sake of doing the right thing, it's also because that is how our program is successful.
Because of the relationship we built up over 13 years with the Maasai people, we come and look at it through the lens of the Maasai. You can get to know them personally, you can sit up around the campfire and talk with them at night. Because we've been there for 13 years now, we built up a trust that you just can't get by going there for a week or two.
We spent a lot of time getting to know folks, spending a lot of time understanding what it means to live in Maasailand and what it means to be doing grassroots work in Maasailand.
In 2008, the community asked us to look into a piece of land in Maunarok. It's a 30,000-acre piece of land that was taken under colonialization and never returned even after independence.
So we have accomplished research into colonial and then post-colonial records on how specific land was taken from the community.
This led to a land rights case that went through the Kenya courts and also led to a huge social movement that swept Maasailand, all led by Maasai.
Summer of 2017, we partnered with an engineering school at ASU and brought 8 ASU engineering students over with their faculty, and we threw them into the classroom with the Prescott College liberal arts students and found that we just had a phenomenal collaboration.
We didn't have much of an agenda when we showed up. We were kind of mostly just told to go there and experience it and observe and just live in the moment and see what we could do, apply our expertise in any way we could.
If you want to make a difference in a third world country like this, working with indigenous peoples, you come up with better solutions if you've got the perspective of the sociologists and the social justice people and the perspective of the engineers and technicians.
They really took the role of implementing some of the new things there, and we were able to build some smokeless stoves with the help of Maasai Women's initiative. And so they go around and they implement all these stoves, and that was a collaborative construction project that we all got to be a part of.
In 2016, we had a large class for the Mara Guides training program, and it was really exciting because on graduation day, it was also the day of the Mara Guides Association launch. So there was a huge celebration where our guides were honored in their graduation, but we were also celebrating the Mara Guides Association launch. It's a union within the Indigenous community. It's actually the first Indigenous union in Kenya, and Maasai worked with the guides for over 2 years to get this registered with the government, so it was a really big deal.
I can say thank you for the program that was run by Prescott. It is something that I will never forget in my life, especially my teachers. And my teachers know more about clans, even more than me, because the clans come from their countries. So they really know who these clans are.
Having the Arizona State University students and Prescott College students together was just this model of what the world actually looks like, to have these interdisciplinary conversations where everyone is challenged to look at something from another perspective.
So when we got there, we found that there's a group that makes these gravity lights, which are gravity-powered lights. So we ended up putting 3 of those up. We put one in the kitchen, one outside the bathrooms, and one in the dining area.
First of all, irrespective of your career, you are a human being. That's the most important thing to remember, that whether you are an engineer or social scientist or whatever, you are a human being.
Community members would, I think, love to see all of us come back. I mean, they made quite an impression on me. I think I made an impression on them, and it's not a relationship that I would want to just throw away after one summer.
I can't imagine not going back. My life has developed simultaneously with my friends and colleagues there. Most of my closest relationships are with people in Maasailand.
I had a lot of friends I didn't want to leave that were at camp and in Kenya. I cried, it was sad. I didn't want to leave them. But now you feel like you have more family, other places, and more people to support you and help you with things.
The sunsets are really beautiful there. Nothing you would ever experience in the US.
It was an awesome experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. The rewards you get out of it are amazing.
Check it. Water's gone for 12 minutes. Spot on the dot.
I would encourage students to explore it as an option and maybe not even realize in what ways it's going to change.
their perspective or their work, but trusting and knowing that it will.
Students today need to become global citizens. They need to understand what's happening throughout the world. And the cutting edge of what's happening in democracies right now, much of it is happening in Africa. And Kenya is the center of much of that.
We're building a 5-year plan. So we want to see our center become a hub of activity for the use of the Maasai community, into which students from outside can land and become immersed in interesting, good work.
Our next steps to expand the program to be able to handle the participating institutions, because right now we are small. We have a very well-established center, but I think that our goal is to expand the program to be able to house all our students, to be able to house Maasai students that we want to be part of the program and learn with the American students. We want to be able to explore areas where solutions to, say, environmental distractions can be resolved. So expanding our program would be able to look into these areas and harness the skills and the knowledge that the resources that these students from America bring to Maasailand.
We're very excited about the future, and it's very much underway.